Hi everyone, welcome to today's session of UI Tribe of Changemakers. So my name is Shalene. I am the Global Category Manager for Skin Cleansing. And together with me, we'll have Shazan, the Head of Business Strategy, as well as the Head of Global Beauty and Personal Care Division. So we are from the Unilever International team, and we are here to share with you our experiences, the culture, and how is it like working in Unilever International, and how do we get to live our purpose through our work here. So this will be a very interactive session. So I hope that you share all your questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Please share all your questions via the chat functions. We will address them in the second half of this session. So no questions are silly questions. So keep them coming in. And also just a reminder, all the questions that you post will give you 50 points added into your account. So you will get to stand a chance to win an ergonomic chair worth $400 at the end of Unicorn. So without further ado, let me hand off the stage to Shazan, who will bring us through some of the interesting facts about himself and also his journey with Unilever.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing today? Again, like Shalin was mentioning, both of us are from the Unilever International Business, which is a separate vertical within the Unilever, the wider Unilever business. And I'll take you through, what's exciting about Unilever International in a bit. And then, like I said, today we are about how do we today we're going to talk about how we serve the underserved and how we're trying to make a difference from a Unilever International perspective. Sherlyn and I are both from the Unilever International beauty and personal care marketing space. So thought we'll just quickly give a bit of an introduction about who we are before we dive into our business and what exactly we do. So a bit about me. I think we all have this travel bug in me, but the travel bug was in me way before the pandemic happened. So I love travel and adventure. Be it of a sports fanatic, and we love going for the bigger sports events. Actually bought tickets for the Tokyo Olympics as well. This was me and my fiance when we went for the Rugby World Cup in 2019. And when I came to Singapore, I didn't even know how to cook an egg, but I've loved now cooking and experimenting with new things. It's here me trying to make Hokkien mee actually at my place. Again, like a bit about me, I'm the global head of beauty and personal care business. I've been here for almost 12 years, and my purpose is about creating a sense of equity among everyone. A little bit about my journey in my trajectory within Unilever. I joined Unilever as an intern in Sri Lanka way back in 2008. Started off by working on an interesting project of launching Vaseline in my home country. Very happy to say that Vaseline has turned out to become a 1 billion business. Of course, in my local currency, but in the last 5 years or so. So it's a very successful launch to say as an intern. The success of working in Vaseline helped me propel into the Unilever Future Leaders program in 2009, where I was sent off to a very remote place to work as a territory manager, so field sales management. Interestingly enough, that was the same area where Sir Thomas Lipton had his first tea factory. Great views from the hill country over there. And then I think the first few years as a marketer I used to work in the home care business. So I used to work in different roles, whether it's mass fabric cleaning, household cleaning, all the way to the point where I used to be a senior brand manager in premium fabric cleaning. When I kind of realized that I wanted to get something more, and I wanted to get more exposure into what it's like to work in a global space. So interestingly enough, you'll see that from a senior brand manager, I moved to assistant brand manager. And the reason is because I took the decision to take a hit on my career in terms of career progress to get more learnings. So I actually joined in Singapore in 2014 as an assistant global brand manager, in the spirit of getting more learnings and getting a wide exposure into the role of marketing. The good news is that it paid off. because in a short 6 year time period, given the experience I've had earlier, and now added on to the global experience, I was able to progress really fast, and now I'm the head of marketing in the beauty and personal care space for Unilever International, and we are a very big organization. From we are one of the top 5 businesses for all our categories, whether it's skincare, skin cleansing, or even deos as a category. So very happy journey from me working in Unilever, and with that, I think I hand it over to Sherlyn to kind of take her through what her trajectory is like.
All right, thank you, Shazan. So just a little bit about myself as well. So my name is Shalene. I practices yoga quite a bit. I've actually been practicing it for the last like 6 to 7 years. So it's kind of like my source of serenity and also keeping my body fit. And another interesting fact about me is I think I have a very unhealthy relationship with sheep. Like I really love sheep. So it's something about like their calmness, like or just the fluffiness of their looks, like that draws me to them. And I hope that one day, like I will be able to have my own pet sheep in my backyard. Maybe not in Singapore, but somewhere else. So also, I'm an adventure seeker. So like Shazan, I like traveling. I like to do hikes in particular. So I've gone on some solo hiking trips before. Really, I love the adrenaline. I love the challenges of conquering like mountains to mountains. And I think that's what I like. That's what I bring to work as well. Like I like I like working in FMCG industry, especially because that's where I see myself learning and developing, and there are always like constant challenges that gets thrown to me, and like it's just the adrenaline of like overcoming all those challenges is very fulfilling. So I think this is me, my career journey. So I am currently the global category manager of skin cleansing in Unilever International. So my purpose is to be the light of others and to radiate positivity. So just a little bit about like how my journey with like my whole career journey started. So back when I was studying, I was doing a lot of internships, particularly in the marketing agencies front. So my first internship was actually in Shanghai, a 6 months internship in the advertising agency, and that's where I got the first taste of marketing, and that's where I started like falling in love with marketing, and I started doing a lot of internships in places like Nielsen, where I really got to have a feel of like the FMCG industry. So after graduation, I entered into L'Oreal as part of their management training program. So I was actually one of the lucky few who got rotated to the regional team doing product development for the brand Garnier. So it's a regional product development team that manages like basically creation of the products. So developing products from scratch, particularly for their skincare range. So then we also created like campaigns, developed campaigns for the marketing, for the local marketeers to launch in their markets. And after 2 years in Garnier, I moved on to SkinCeuticals. So SkinCeuticals is where I get the first hands-on experience of managing a local market. So I was managing the Singapore business. So that's where I see the action, like you get to be part of the action. You get to look at how all your products, how all your campaigns are translated into like the implementation process, and you get to see the performance and the results. And after that, I wanted to expand, broaden my experiences, and that's why I joined Clarins, where I was managing the APAC business, so including China, Japan, and it was really exciting times because, like China now is such a big company, such a big country, and it's really exciting to see how the consumers in the different markets react to different products, to different concepts, and also additionally, my portfolio extended, so not just on skincare, but I'm also managing like body care, maternity sets. I'm managing also like makeup and men's male grooming segment. So then after which, back 2 years after, I landed into my dream job in Unilever, and I was recruited in Unilever International, and today I'm the global category manager, managing skin cleansing. So just for your information, the role that I'm managing right now is very interesting. I get to handle many brands, not just like 1 or 2 brands, but we manage like 10 to 20 brands on a daily basis. And it's exciting to see. It really like opens up my view to see like how do we do strategizing across the different brands, and how do we position each of the brands in the different price ladders, for example. So I think another thing about Unilever International is it trains me to be an entrepreneur. So we always have this saying in the team, like, be your own boss today. So we learned how to be our own boss, managing our own category as if it's a business of our own. So really a lot of business acumen, business analysis going on, and managing beyond just like marketing. Yeah, so I think most importantly as well, what I really like about working in this team in particular is the high energy team that we have in the BPC division. So this is a picture of us with Shazan and I on the left side. So basically, we are a group of high functioning team, high functioning individual, but yet at the same time, we are very, I think the team are very humble, and we are always helping out each other in times of needs. And I think that's, the camaraderie within the team really holds it quite tightly. And I really love working in this team because we are all rock stars of our own, and they are all shining stars in their own categories, but yet they are still super humble and super willing to help each other. And as a result, we managed, because of this team, and also another interesting thing about Unilever International is the flat hierarchy. So we don't have much layers and layers of leadership team that we need to clear. So because of the flat hierarchy, it makes us very agile. So it makes us very quick into market. We pride ourselves for developing innovations at speed. And our mantra is always our innovations will be launched within 100 days. And trust me, it's true. I've been on so many different projects, and it does deliver in such a short time span. And it's probably one of the shortest product life cycle that I've seen across all the other companies that I've worked in. And yeah, I think that's super interesting. Just to give you perspective, like last year during the COVID-19 pandemic, our team really delivered products as fast as even 10 days, so that we can meet, we can start serving the underserved, bringing the products into the markets that really needed them at the most difficult time. So I think that also serves it's a purpose that we are serving. We are not just introducing products to make margins, but we are also thinking about consumers, putting consumers at the forefront, and thinking about where our products are needed and in the most urgent manner. Right. So I think let me hand over to Shazan just to give you an overview of what is Unilever International. I know I spoke quite a lot about Unilever International, and how does it, what's our culture? How does it differ from the mothership company?
Yeah. So I think moving forward, what is Unilever International? So I think the way the nice analogy that we have is that we have some of our big MCOs, or what we call operating companies in markets like Indonesia, the US, the UK, and so on. And that's what we call the mothership company, which runs the big structured core business. We launch big brands, we invest in them. It's been around for almost in some cases almost 100 years in terms of a business. But what we realize is that in the last 10 years alone, the market has evolved. It's fragmented. There is so much new niche opportunities that are out there that it's very difficult for a mothership to keep changing course in such short time period. So what we did was almost 10 years ago we introduced this vertical called Unilever International, which is pretty much a speedboat model. We are a very agile business model where we work with, with the mothership to identify new opportunities, new avenues of growth, so that we are able to deliver and meet, consumer expectations much faster in a much nimble manner. Charlene was mentioning about, last year and how we've, taken over the situation with the pandemic, and that's a testament to how fast we are. And then before the COVID-19 pandemic, we used to do innovation at 100, maybe 100 and 120 days, and we thought that was good enough as a business model. But we really kept proving ourselves that we can do it even faster and even better as well, because of the team that we kind of built in the past. So moving on, I think just to give you an understanding of what the culture of Unilever International is. It's pretty much, like Charlene was mentioning, we really truly live this idea of the founders mentality. I mean, all of us are considered founders, mini CEOs. We've got high autonomy across the board, whether it's, head of the business, who's, let's say, the CEO of Unilever International, all the way to, an intern of Unilever International. We live as a founder because the founder needs to be able to do everything. I mean, I call myself the head of beauty and personal care, but I'm also the intern of beauty and personal care because I had to source my own products, I had to do all my printouts and all that. And we don't have this hierarchy. And we live that on a daily basis, regardless of, what function, what level you are at. Second thing is about fast and furious, and the idea is that we have this hunger to get into the market really fast, and of course follow the right frameworks in place. So we always challenge the status quo wherever possible to make sure that we are able to land this the right time period, so that both the consumer, the customer, and Unilever win together. And that lands me to the second point of work and win together. And I think there's a difference where with Unilever International, where we call ourselves a tribe. And the difference between a team and a tribe is that, we are a very close-knit group of people, whether it's at a total UI level, and UI stands for Unilever International level. We work very closely. We have a work hard, play hard kind of attitude. And the same tribe atmosphere runs down into our individual organizations, for mini organizations as well, the way you've seen us, the BPC team kind of working together. And then, of course, we keep nurturing this tribe because we want to build this community of like-minded people to help win in the marketplace. And the most important thing is we are also about that hunger to make a difference, so that we want to find new opportunities to kind of drive our business wherever possible. So I think moving on to what is it about our purpose? It's about serving the underserved and trying to make a difference. So who are these underserved people that we're talking about? The fragmentation that we're talking about. I think one way of looking at it, and these are just a very broad lens that we look at, is one is about how do we look at retail channels. There are so many channels that, whether it's the professional channel that caters to let's say hotels, out of home institutions, whether it's KFC and so on, or whether it's channels like discounters or value as we call it, where there are a lot of consumers who want great products but can't afford it. We are making sure that those kind of products are made available to those consumers. Second point is like immigrants, like we have people from South Asia, Southeast Asia, now a lot of consumers from Middle East who are moving to markets like US and Europe, and they still have a liking for their brands from back home, and we are making sure that those products are made available to them. Thirdly, it's about religious groups. So whether it's halal food, it's kosher food, whether it's certain condiments that certain ethnicities prefer, the taste palettes, we're making sure that those products are made available to all the consumers around the world. And then fourthly, about landlocked countries or remote islands. These are very tough geographies for consumers for businesses to get into. But then there's almost 400, 500 million people living in these kind of geographies that deserve to have good products that deliver a sense of purpose, and also make sure that it's a quality product, because especially in these geographies there are a lot of counterfeit products, homemade remedies that consumers use may not be suitable for actual consumption. So we are playing a big role in making sure that that is made available, and we are making a big impact to these underserved consumers. So we've got two examples that Sherlin's going to take us through. Sherlin, you're on mute.
Yep. Sorry. Okay, so the first one is sustainability. So sustainability is at the core of Unilever. So we listen to our consumers, we understand, the importance of sustainability, and we are taking active actions to cut down on our plastic waste. So, for example, what do we do? How do we embrace sustainability in our day-to-day work? So for existing products, we are reducing our plastic footprint by actually introducing bigger pack sizes so that we have lesser plastic wastage per bottle. Secondly, is converting like our existing bottles into recyclable materials, and also making sure that, for example, like wipes, when we have wipes, we also make sure that it is a biodegradable material to ensure that it is friendly, it reduces our impact to the environment. And thirdly, we also increase like the awareness and the transparency of all our packaging. And we are also incorporating like how to recycle information into our current pack labels to ensure that, people are aware that, there are ways that they can do their part to help the environment. And the second pillar is on innovations. So for new products, sustainability is ingrained into the forefront of our innovations. So we are actively trying to reduce plastic waste by introducing like refills instead of bottles, so that it has lesser plastic wastage. And at the same time, we are also looking at, waterless innovations where it's basically like you don't have to, it totally eliminate the plastic bottles altogether. And also with the waterless innovations, we are looking at reducing our carbon footprint as well. Because if you see in the picture here, it is a very small and compact product that, if you have a container of this, it can actually serve a wider group of consumers globally. And beyond our day-to-day work, the third pillar over here is the renewable. We use a renewable energy in our own factory. So this is beyond, like our day-to-day tasks, where Unilever has really stepped up its sustainability actions by running 100% renewable grid electricity in our factories as well as our facilities. So we are also now running carbon neutral production sites all over the world. So I would say Unilever, it's truly a company that really lives up to its purpose. And not like we are not just taking pledge, we are really taking like active actions, and it's showing in our day-to-day work, and in from all the actions, every project that we work on, there is a sustainability element tagged to it. We are making sure that all our innovations meet a certain sustainability criteria and quality. So we want and we will make this place a better place with lesser impact. And I think in such a scale like Unilever, it does really give a huge impact. It does really have a huge impact on the entire world. So I think this is truly something that Unilever stands by, and you can see a lot of like actions beyond just these three pillars that we are actively taking as well. So next up, I'll hand over to Shazan, who will talk about the Sheer Moisture business as well as its purpose too.
Yeah, so I think one of the other things that we are doing is, how do we, like, talking about the underserved consumer, we actually went in to understand what are these underserved consumers, around the world. And we may not necessarily understand this here in the markets over here, but there is the 1 billion consumers around the world who have a concern with their current textured hair. And when I talk about textured hair, we're talking about curly, coily hair. And for the last so many years, all the big brands, and of course, including Unilever, we've always been, focusing on delivering hair care products that only cater to straighter, wavy hair, because that's where 7 billion of the consumers or 6 billion of the consumers are operating in. But we acquired a brand in the US called Shea Moisture. It's a brand that lives by its purpose of making sure that everyone should be able to celebrate their hair care needs, including the consumer textured hair. So what we did was currently and we launched this in the US. But what we realized is that outside the US, Latin America, Africa, Europe, even in places like ANZ, there are so many consumers who have this hair care problem. And what they do is they currently don't have any solution for it. But what they use is they use homemade concoctions to and remedies to kind of solve these kind of problems. And again, comes to the point that some of these remedies may not necessarily be good for your hair. So UI took on this opportunity of expanding the brand of Shea Moisture, which we truly believe in as a brand, and we've basically able to take it into all the markets that I was referring to, whether it's Latin America, Europe, and Africa, and then today we've been able to create a big impact to these consumers who've been challenged in finding the right kind of consumer product to make it available to them. So and then these are just two examples of how we've been able to live with purpose in through Live International. And you might ask yourself, if you're living with purpose and we're trying to do good, what does that mean from a business perspective? Because at the end of the day, it's all about business. But if you look at the results, the good thing is that today we've reached to over 1 billion consumers every year, and importantly, we introduce very quality products that people can trust and people believe in, because these are products that we have been having for almost some of these products like even Lifebuoy have been products that have been around for almost 100 years. Second thing is that because we've been able to live our purpose from a business perspective, we've been able to double our business in just 5 years, living the founder's mentality, and also being able to find the right consumer that we want to operate in. And our challenge that we've set up to ourselves is how do we double again in the next 3 years. Seems daunting, but it's something that the entire team is geared towards, and we are very much gung ho about making it available and very much possible. And then thirdly, it's about because we've been able to grow so much, we are now a top contributor to the total beauty and personal care business of Unilever. We are the top 5 markets for like I said, skincare, skin cleansing, deos. We are top 10 markets for oral care and for hair care, and our ambition is to get to the top 3. So I think when you do live with purpose, consumers do react to it, and of course react to it very positively, and we are able to merge purpose and business results together. And that's something that Unilever believes in, and in something that Unilever International is thriving in at the moment. And this is something we're very proud of from a Unilever International business standpoint. That said, I mean, very excited to have you guys apply for the internship role, I'm sure, and looking forward to seeing you as part of our team. Just a little example of how we can, keep things fun. That's Monkey Mondays, Supreme Fridays, and now we have Champion Wednesdays, where we all get together and create this, team atmosphere. And like I said, we work hard and we play hard. And we're looking forward to having you guys be part of our team in the future. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shazan. So we received some Q&As from the team. So just a reminder, please, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat function. We are here to answer your questions for the second half of this session. So any questions that you want to know about the culture, know about even like, what are some of the qualities or some of the points that we look out for when we hire any candidates, you can also put in. It's informal session. You can any questions that you have, just put it in. We will try our best to answer all of them. So I have one question here actually. It's from Zhi Ying. What are some of the qualities that you look out for in new joiners to the team? Maybe Shazan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So I think firstly, the most important thing is attitude, and attitude speaks, and I think it's about someone who has this hunger. And it comes back to one of our points that we were mentioning about hunger to make a difference. And it's about, being hungry to win, the hunger to, make a difference, the hunger to find solutions to, business problems that are out there. And it's easy to be, someone who's able to identify problems. But the most important thing is how do you take those problems, solve them, and make a big impact. So I think having that hunger is and in that attitude is really important. Second thing is that being able to have this intensity to learn and listen, especially through listening. Because we are an organization in UI that is always, looking for new things to do. Like I said, we talked about founders mentality. We're looking for people who have this intensity to learn, because we may not be able to solve all the problems that are out there, but by being able to learn and understand, how things are done, maybe in other organizations outside, within Unilever, being able to implement or take those learnings into, problem solving becomes a big task for big opportunity for us. And then I think thirdly, it's about, how you can work with other people. So I think what we're realizing, and especially now that we have to work virtually, we want to be able to find people who are willing to collaborate across multiple teams. We don't believe in the concept of working in individual silos or individual contributors. I think the team wins, everybody wins. So if you are a team player, yeah, this is the team to be in.
All right. Great. Thank you, Shazan. Another question has come in from Sean Quick. How is success measured for any projects or new product launches in UI?
So a couple of things that we look at. One is, because we are a fast and furious organization, we look at timelines in terms of speed. So like, currently, I mean, we have pushed the boundaries in terms of, launching things in 10 days as well, but we want to set a standard of today. We still want to make sure that whatever we try to innovate, we want to try to innovate at least within a 100-day time period, which is pretty fast for an FMCG business model that we operate in. Second thing is about, what's the business impact that we can deliver to the organization. So it's always about, revenue and profitability, making sure that, we've captured the right KPIs in place to deliver this innovation. And then thirdly, which is of course by far the most important point from our perspective, whenever we create innovation, is that are we doing the right thing to the consumer? And that's very qualitative, so it's difficult to measure. But I think through the consumer research that we do, and then of course post-launch evaluations that we do, are we making the right? Are we moving the needle with our consumers? Do they trust our brands? Do they believe in our brands? We do. We periodically do purpose scores to see whether consumers do still feel like Unilever is an organization with purpose. Are we able to address the consumer problem that we thought we were intending to implement to address? Those are three initial what do you call it, things that we kind of look for when we think of success within an organization.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay, another question from Wai Yin. How does your team stay connected with the markets during the pandemic, and what are some of the challenges, and how have you overcome that? So, Shazan, maybe you want to take that as well.
Yeah, give me all the tough questions. No, so I think this actually is not. So it was a leadership challenge, to be honest, last year, and I'm laughing with Shalin because we went through it together. Because we were all locked down, we don't know how to work virtually. We were all cramped up, in small places within our little homes, and then we have to work with other teams around the world. And this was before the pandemic. We were able to easily travel to R&D teams in India or work with the markets in the US, in Europe, and so on. And now suddenly we weren't able to do that. And then what's important is that how do we keep the same energy levels ongoing. So one thing that we did was make sure that we had proper FaceTime on a weekly basis, at least once a week. So as a team, at least the BPC team, we started organizing, weekly meetings on Mondays. Everyone, talks. We start the meeting by everyone talking about, how they're feeling, what's their well-being levels are like, and then we get into, business, and then we make sure that we have, a human connection going forward. The second thing that we kind of, looked at is in terms of how do we keep the energy levels up from a non-business perspective. So we started organizing, team lunches, whether it's within our close teams, whether it's within wider teams, and to make sure that everyone still felt like there was a level of connection that was going on. The third thing is that what we realized is that because people are working in at home, the level of appreciation among teams was not evident because you're not able to meet people face to face. So what we did was we started implementing this small rewards program or small appreciation programs. So we took a conscious choice to recognize people who have done well for the organization. So from a BPC perspective, we looked at some teams who've done extraordinary work outside of the office in Singapore, and started celebrating those accomplishments. We organized what do you call it, little, for every time we achieved something, whether it was big or small. Like for example, if we hit the quarterly target, we'd organize little hampers, little packs, chocolates or whatever like that to the wider team, to at least feel like the hard work that you have been putting through is being appreciated within the wider organization. I think that really helped. And I think the thing is that it's about making sure that people are connected and building that sense of connectivity. And during that time period, and a very trying time period for all of us, we were able to keep connected among everyone, understand, and I think Sherlyn celebrated moving to a new home during that time period. Someone else in that team, got married during that time period. So we were making sure that we were there for all the human moments, because it wasn't a business challenge that we went through. It was more of a human emotional challenge that we were going through, and we kept counting on one another to keep us on the right track. And I think that was one of the points of success for us to keep going. And the good thing is, after the lockdown, now that we meet at office, we are continuing to have those same camaraderie. Like we have bubble tea Wednesdays where we everyone goes and has bubble tea during the lunch break and so on. So we continue to keep those little things going, and enjoying those little moments.
Yeah, I think just to add on Shazan's point is, I think it's the little things that makes people stay, like, feel appreciated. And I think that's where we are coming from. Getting like little touches, like even remembering someone, like, on their birthdays, sending some, like, sweet treats to them. I think that really helps to keep us connected in the team. And also, I think what in Unilever International, especially, that I think it's doing very well, is that we all kept our team having the same like goal. So we don't like, there's no like, pointing fingers and stuff, but it's more like, we help each other prioritize our task, and making sure that everyone has the right, like, the correct like priorities, and we help each other, especially especially the leadership team, like they help each other to clear out the blockages, any barriers, any difficulties that we are facing. So I think it's more collaborative rather than like top down kind of thing. So the culture, I saw some of you have also asked like what's the differences in terms of your values within like Unilever International and Unilever. I would say that it's pretty much same, like going hand in hand. We are in Unilever International, we are like, we always call ourselves like a startup arm. So we do things like very quickly. We are the ones like, if they want a speedy launch to market, like they come to us, or we always like, help each other incubate like brands, for example, to make sure that, the brands are flying like, after a few years, and the values are the same, similar between the two, the mothership company as well as Unilever International. It's just like, the different priorities that is put within these two divisions. All right. Cool. Another question that comes in as well, maybe to Shazan, like, hi, from Emilia. Hi, how does Unilever stay ahead in the beauty and personal care segment?
Sorry, how do we stay ahead?
How do we stay ahead in the BPC segment? Yeah.
So again, it comes back to the most fundamental thing in marketing, listening to our consumers. And the good thing today is that back in the day, and I'm talking about 10 years ago when I started, we had to do focus groups and try to get people to get people to tell what they're looking for, and sometimes more often than not in focus groups they won't actually tell what their problems are. The good thing about today is that if they have a problem, they're already going typing it on Google. They're asking it on. They're asking for a solution on Amazon. They're finding. They're voicing their opinions on social channels and so on. So I think the most important thing to in terms of staying ahead is understanding what the consumer is asking from you, and sometimes it's very direct. Like, I have a problem with acne and I want a solution for acne. But sometimes it's it's about reading in between the lines and kind of understanding what is the actual challenge that the consumer is facing. So by being able to listen to the consumer, understand the consumer, you are being able to frame the problem that they are facing, and then more importantly find that solution that we can address. And by doing that, I think the most successful organizations, whether it's beauty and personal care, I mean, in general marketing, are the people who are able to understand what the consumer problem is and being able to find that solution that can deliver to that problem. And with us, we are looking at multiple, and we don't want to just limit ourselves to one way of listening to our consumer. We listen to the consumer from we still do focus groups because it's still an important means of understanding what consumers want. We're looking at social listening and seeing what they're mentioning. We're looking at search and understanding what are they searching for. And then we're also looking at one other step of, we are working with retailers, and they have buyers who also do this, trying to understand what consumers are looking for, because they are like stockbrokers. They need to make sure that their portfolio, whether it's their skincare portfolio or whether it's their hair care portfolio, increases by 2-fold, 3-fold going forward. So they themselves also have understandings of what consumer trends are and what consumers are looking for. So we are able to pull different sources of information, put them together into a black box of us trying to figure this solution out and being able to address them, and that's really helped us stay ahead of the curve. And then you've seen the results. We've grown 2x in 5 years, and we continue to drive growth going forward. So I think it's a very interesting time to be in marketing, a more interesting time to be in personal beauty and personal care, given that there is so many facets to personal care in all the categories that we operate in. So there's never a dull day in this business.
Yeah, that's true. So look, I think we are running towards the end of the session. I know there are still some questions in the Q&A segment. So rest assured, we will be answering them over our Instagram over the next few days. So do look out for those questions. And yeah, I think just a little wrap up for the session. So thanks for joining Shazan and I for today's session. And before we close, we'd like to shout out that the applications for the internships as well as the management training programs are now open. So you can head over to the brand booths or to talk to like any of the Unilever employees, as well as, just explore more about our brands. You can gain points as well to explore and also explore our Discover Unilever games. So right now we'll break for a short lunch, and we will be seeing you back after lunch in this session. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.